Monkey Talks.
Craving fresh, mouth-watering seafood? Come to Natalie's Seafood Kitchen in Falston. From crispy crab cakes to an amazing lobster ravioli. We're serving up all your favorites, hot, fresh, and made with love. Family-owned, locally loved, Natalie's is where flavor meets freshness. Located right in the heart of Falston, right off of Route 1. Taste the difference at Natalie's. Natalie's is where flavor meets freshness. All right, we are here live. It is, Matt, this is it.
This is show 100, yeah.
This is show 100.
Wow.
This was a big deal for us.
We were supposed to celebrate,
somewhere live.
Yeah.
But we didn't think to do that.
But you know where the celebration is now?
Where's that?
September 11th. That's going to be our big thank you to everybody that supported this podcast up until this point.
Yeah, we're totally psyched and stoked about that. Of course, the big show at FPX Theater, Flagship Cinemas, is that we are doing the Spinal Tap premiere. Spinal Tap 2, Never Never, the best classic rock band in town, opening up. And it's going to just be a blast, and it's free. All you have to do is email mickeytalkspod@gmail.com and just say Spinal Tap in the subject line. We'll respond with the confirmation, and you're going to see it. It's all September 11th. Get your tickets now, though. That's what I would do.
Now,
Get them now.
Yeah, you got to do it today because it's going to sell out pretty soon.
Yeah.
So I wish this was show number 97, actually.
Yeah, me too, man. It would make a lot of sense because, Matt, I'm going to let you take it. But joining us today are guys that I remember when I first got into radio. This is, I guess, late 80s, early 90s, when I first started hanging around the radio people as a comedian or working at Hammerjacks. These guys and you, Matt, were doing something that no one even knew was going to be something. So I'm going to let you take it from here and introduce our guest and tell the story for a while.
Yeah, so I'm eternally grateful to these guys because, I was probably, I don't know, I might have been 15 or 16 years old when I first started listening to 97 Underground.
So it's their fault.
It's their fault that you have to listen to me and see me here today. Yes. Yeah. I was working at a gas station. That was my gig when I was 15.
Solid. And
I would take tinfoil and rig it up to the antenna and rig it up to the booth of the gas station in order to get the station in crystal clear. And would listen to it for, my 8-hour shift all week long at work.
What year is this, roughly?
It's probably like 87 or 88, maybe something like that.
Okay. Give me a top 5 bands from that era that they were spinning in like heavy rotation.
Oh, my God.
Was Metallica one?
I'm sure it was Metallica. I'm sure Motley Crue was in there.
Were bands like, listen, I've said this 1,000 times. I was never a heavy metal guy.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
I like rock and punk.
I, on the other hand, was a metal kid and loved this station.
Were they playing stuff like Slayer? Was that on there? Was it that heavy?
This station was playing stuff that no other station in the country was playing at the time and broke a lot of bands. It was one of the first stations to play a lot of these artists that are humongous today in the rock and metal world. But I would listen to this nonstop. I mean, I would listen to it at home. I'd listen to it at work at this gas station that I worked at. And I would call the DJs up. They did this thing every hour called the heavy metal roll call.
Right.
And you would call up and you would talk to a DJ and then they would play your song if you got through and you made the heavy metal roll call.
Yeah.
So I've got I wish I could dig these tapes. I know there's tapes that exist of me calling the DJs and as a listener and getting on the air because I would record them every single time. And then finally, when I was, I don't know how old I was, 17 maybe.
Yep.
I called up the program director, Derek Allen, and he was the one ultimately who gave me my first shot in radio. Had me come down and intern and taught me how to cut tape because you were cutting reel-to-reel tape. There was no digital editing back then. Yeah. And just taught me the ropes of radio. And it was him, it was Derek Allen and Tom Pless, who are joining us right now from 97 Underground.
Wow.
Who gave me my first shot. I'll be eternally grateful. And I sucked. I sounded like a little girl. Really
not much has changed, buddy.
But they took a chance on me, and I appreciate it. And I love you guys eternally for that. And you guys have credit or blame, whichever you want to call it, for me being on the radio.
It's been a long time since we've rock and rolled, hasn't it?
It really has, my friend.
Man,
where's it gone?
Anyway, thank you guys for bringing us on. It's really kind of nice to be around you guys and talk about.
Listen,
the
man.
music business with radio and what we did.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny during those days, you know, when you're battling, you hate the guy. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You're battling it out. But I remember shows when I was working at Hammer Jacks. I was also doing 98 Rock stuff, but you guys would promote shows. So I had to be on my best behavior. You know, when you guys would come in, I'd be like, yeah, put the banner there, or yeah, that's fine, or do this. And, you know, you guys were always great. And I remember Louie, who owned Hammer Jacks. I can't remember the first show it was. Maybe you guys do. Do you remember the first show
that we did
at Hammer Jacks?
Yeah, King Diamond.
King
in
Diamond.
87. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Good Sunday afternoon
No,
entertainment for the whole family,
exactly.
right?
I remember after that night, Louie said, I think Louie might have still been getting messed up in them days. I'm not sure. But I remember he said, I don't know what that shit was, but these guys brought a shit ton of people. Like we were all like, wow, because we didn't really have heavy metal like that. Never. Hammer Jacks was a rock bar.
Right. And let's be real. Baltimore was a rock and metal town.
Yeah.
And the place you were getting the deep stuff was on 97 Underground. And for the people that don't know, go back to the very beginning. I mean, just tell people what 97 Underground was in its prime and how it came to be.
Well, I guess that's up to me, isn't it?
Yeah, I was a student at Dundalk High School under this guy. In the electronics room, there'd be people buzzing in and out while I'm soldering capacitors and stuff in this room. It did say WSBH on the door, 96.7. And he ran all that out of this closet in there. And that's how I got into broadcasting. But he could tell you more because the story.
Yeah, there's an
It's
interesting
fascinating.
story behind it.
Let's hear it, man.
I was in radio for a number of years. Worked for Johnny Walker. I was his engineer at WFBR.
That's my childhood. What a great morning guy he was.
For
Ahead
2
of his
years.
time.
Two years I worked with him, and then I became chief engineer at WWIN, and I was also had a degree. I was teaching school, and my goal was to come to a high school and start a radio station and teach people radio. Well, got there at Dundalk High School, and we put a little carrier current system on the air, pumped music down to the cafeteria. We thought we were real. And found out later that the county had a license for a radio station. It was over Sparrows Point, that the high school that was not being used. I went over there to talk to the guy, and he threw me out of the building. He didn't want to know what was going on. So
You're going to play what?
Yeah. So the next thing, he sends me a letter and says, hey, you want the station? We're not going to use it anymore. I said, holy mother of God, please. And they dropped this in my lap, and we did an engineering study. We did the whole package, put it up on the air. And I ended up talking to some people. Mike Brohart was one of them. He was one of my students, and I didn't know anything about it.
That's a guy we need to give credit to, man.
Yep.
Mike Brohart. I have said this. I can't wait to have him on either. But Mike is the guy to me that is the truest example. And Matt, you too, of what that station really was. You guys they were such music heads.
All of them. Mike knew how much. I'll give him. That's why I went right to him.
Yeah.
Because he knew something about music. And I said, well, you know, this is a non-commercial station. It's a non-com license, which is what it was.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know what the hell to do with it. So we just, we were going to play some big bands and some other crap going on. And I went to my brother-in-law, who was a record rep for Polydor and Mercury.
Polydor, wow.
And I said, Andy Selinsky, I said, I got this station. I don't know what the hell to do with it.
Right.
He says, can I make a suggestion? He says, you're going to think I'm crazy. I said, no. He said, play heavy metal. And I said, what the hell is that? And he says, don't worry about it. I'll supply the music. Because he had Cinderella, he had Bon Jovi, he had the Scorpions, he had them all.
Yeah.
Wait, what year was this, Tom?
This was 82.
82.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And he said, do that. So I went to Mike, and Mike said, all smiles. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, let's put it together. And we did a lot. We tried to take the non-com the best way we could. We played big bands. We played public service shows. And the 97 Underground, I believe, was on Friday and Saturday night, or just Saturday night.
Are we still at the high school?
At the high school. I think it was Saturday night. We ran at 6 to 12
right
when it first started. And like you said, we got no calls on any other show but that 6 hours.
Yeah.
And that's where it ended up. And we kind of decided to go in that direction. And then, excuse the expression, the shit hit the fan with the county.
And by the way, these are the days with the rotary phone.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
a rotary with the long ass cord on it.
Cord on it, man.
So while you're on the mic, that was on the wall behind your wife. But let's go to the phone.
Yeah.
So really to speed this up, I ended up getting in hot water with Baltimore County because the kids went screaming about they weren't supporting us with money.
Right.
And I got called into the Greenwood. They were ready to nail me to the wall. And the next thing you know, they said, we're going to give this station to Essex Community College. Oh, I was devastated.
Sure.
So I went back to WWIN, and there was a black girl who was on the air, came from DC, came from PGC or one of those places, really nice girl. And I was moaning and groaning about it and talked to her. And she said, so what's your problem? I said, what do you mean? She said, take it away from them. I said, how do you do that? Because I didn't know. She said, file against them with the commission, the FCC, and take it. So I got the company lawyer at WWIN I was friends with, and we said, I said, he did it for nothing. Did the whole thing, went up, fought the guys in DC, and ended up doing a timeshare with them. And you know what the timeshare hours were, which were they had during the daytime. We went on at 6 o'clock at night, and we did the same thing we had all weekends, 8 to 8.
Monday through Friday, we had it 8 at night till 8 in the morning.
No kidding.
Yep.
Well, Friday night, 8 o'clock, rolled all the way through. So just think basically school hours. So the college had it 8 in the morning till 8 at night. So we'd have to turn transmitter on.
And they never used their portion.
Right.
Because everybody was running from the same stick, which was on top of the building. So after that, it just took off.
Yeah. And so before I want to just pause right there, and we'll get back into the story of how it became and what it became. But I just want to give people an idea of what this little station you're talking about. 10 watts, right, Tom? Is that what it was? 10 watts?
10 watts. The ERP, if you all know what that is in the FCC world, is 18.7 watts.
Yeah. Yeah. Antenna on the top of Dundalk High School.
Yep. Yeah.
Just give people.
It covered, by the way, most of Dundalk.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Give us an idea of what it accomplished, though, before we get back into the story of how it became. I mean, I know in my time there, we were in a basement in Bel Air Road. We're going to get back onto the path of all that, but we had
the bottom line is
Iron Maiden.
The bottom line is, Matt, I had to take my portion of the station out because I couldn't run it from the high school.
Yeah.
So we got a phone line and went over to Dundalk Avenue.
Right.
And rented an office building that we didn't have any money for. I paid for it out of my pocket. And Derek came in his situation, and that's where we started 97 Underground to run it. We had that's where we really got into it. That's where our studio was. We had a remote studio.
Sure, yeah, I get it.
That's how that worked.
Yeah, so I was early in my career. I was working at an AM station in Annapolis, and I'm just looking for opportunity, right? So we're all hungry. Remember that being young. And so I jumped back in with him. In fact, there was a time when I was working at IYY, 98 Rock, the Underground, and the AM station. Yeah. And, man, just burning the candle from every end. I had flashcards, as Pat here reminds me of that. I would tape flashcards up, especially because of working at 98 Rock. Yeah. If I'd have cracked that mic and said 97 Underground, but even though the studios look different, man, I'm burning it, man. Those times are just like 15 minutes of sleep, get in your car.
Trust me, I get it.
Drive up the television hill and go up the elevator and do the shift there. So anyway, just burning it like crazy. But when we first started, and he had a friend that had gotten involved with it, and I didn't know all this. This is what's cool about Tom, and I will always say this. Even at the high school, he guided us, but he didn't. It's like Steinbrenner. Like Steinbrenner for the Yankees was always like very strong guy, but he didn't play center field. He didn't put a uniform on and go out and put a glove on, chase and fly balls. So he let us do our thing. He let us play radio and learn the hard way. So when we went over to Dundalk Avenue, he had a friend, and this money part I wasn't concerned with. He just let us play radio and run the thing. So I never had to worry about what was the electric getting paid, or we going to be moving out, or any of that kind of stuff. He had to sweat that. But I found out years later that he didn't have a plan for all that. So he fought the commission. Yeah. He won, got half of this license on the squatter, what's not It's not a squatter.
It was
What's
called
it
a
called?
Class D floater.
Floater. I
Floater.
always called it a squatter.
I've been a floater my whole life. Yeah.
Well,
I never
what it was.
belonged to nothing.
you're in radio long enough to know that like all the educational frequencies are
course.
down low in
Yeah,
the
of
80s.
course.
We're at 96.7. That's
Right.
you guys were 97.9, right?
Right.
So we're right up there running with the big dogs. But
Right.
they just shoved us in there because they're the federal government, the commission.
Right.
So they're like, we'll carve you this little spot. There was a station somewhere
Eastern
heading toward,
Shore.
WCEI. So as long as
Right.
we didn't go flex
Into
out
them.
enough, right? So he keep the transmitter locks and nobody would go in and turn the power up and get us in
I get it.
violation.
Talking with Tom Pless and Derek Allen from 97 Underground, and one of the questions I have in those early days when you guys were really rolling, and we'll get back to the schedule of it, how it got there, but when you were at your peak, when it was really something you thought was going to go to the next level, had you been approached by other radio stations to bring the format into a bigger signal? Did anyone ever come to you and say, hey, we're fledgling, we got nothing, why don't you partner up?
No.
No.
In fact, it went the
Unbelievable.
other way.
It went the other way.
Explain
that we
that.
had to go. I cut all my hair off, Mickey. It was down to the middle of my back. I wanted this so bad. This was like, I'm gonna say late 89,
Yeah,
maybe
that's the
1990.
heart, right.
We're pounding the pavement looking for money, and I went in to a bank. I should have just put it in a ponytail looking
Right,
back, but
yeah.
I cut it all off for a 15-minute
Right,
bank interview, and they didn't give us the money. So,
right. You
yeah,
went
we
back,
were
took your
chasing
hair and
dollars.
set the bank on fire with your hair. That's what I'd have done.
The connection to the money, we are jumping around, but we can
Sure.
jump to that part if you want.
No,
like
I just-
really want it.
I just was wondering if during that whole time, a CAO or a CBM or anybody ever came and said, well,
They wanted us to go away.
right, not embrace it.
We, first of all, shouldn't be doing what we're doing.
Right.
All right.
And how dare you succeed doing it?
Correct.
Yeah.
And because we were doing it and making a little noise, we were forcing X stations
Yeah.
to play stuff they didn't want to play.
Does that include 98 Rock? I mean,
Yeah.
do you think that's the moment 98 Rock, Matt, started embracing heavier shit?
It very well might have been, and I mean,
And that was under Russ
developed,
Motlow, right?
We developed, at the time,
Yeah.
we developed such a cult following. I mean,
Oh,
I came in
unreal.
near the tail end of 97 Underground for what these guys built.
One of
But,
my favorite moments, if I'm honest about that exact thing,
Yeah,
I don't remember the show, but you guys were up on stage bringing a band on, and all of Hammerjacks was chanting, fuck 98 Rock. Fuck 98 Rock. And I remember standing next to the stage looking up and being like, this is cool as shit. Like
we
it
were the
was-
underdog, man.
I
We were
know.
the underdog.
And listen,
you know?
being a kid growing up in Baltimore,
Yeah.
I dug it, man. Like I had to lie and act like it didn't have an impact on me,
Yeah.
but it was badass to see.
Our
man.
listeners would troll the air talent
Oh,
at
it was
IYY, and we
brutal.
did not put them up to
Yeah.
it. They would call 98 Rock, and they would say, "Play some Slayer, man."
Right, yeah.
And I
All the
remember
time.
what was his name? He was the Union Stewart guy. Overnight, Mark Woodward,
Mark-
I think.
Oh my God.
Okay, yeah, we're going back. I was
Yeah.
when I was there. It was Baltimore's 10-year home of rock and roll.
Wow. That's
we're going back.
87.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
86. Yeah.
anyway, he cracked the mic, goes on the air, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm getting these calls and
Right.
from this little
Yeah.
radio station's listeners. They have the power of a refrigerator light bulb. They're called 97." And I'm like, yes, that's a win. Good publicity,
Totally.
bad publicity. Just spell the name right.
Totally.
So 3 different states. I always thought it was 50K, but Mr. Engineer just we were
Right.
talking last week, told me that 98 Rock is not 50K. I always thought it was a 50,000.
13.9K.
It's 13. Yeah.
That's all it is?
Yeah.
That's all it
yeah.
is.
Wow.
That's their ERP rating. So their transmitter's probably lower than that.
Look at this. I love
I was this year's old
Yeah.
when I learned this. So.
Yeah, let's put them down more. What else can we do? 98 isn't even real numbers.
But Russ coming in, I'll give him some props
Yeah.
in terms of, I guess, his style in terms of where Tom Evans was,
Yeah.
is who had brought me in. He was the program director at 98 Rock, and Chuck
Yeah,
Ducote
of course.
was, I believe, operations manager.
He was the general
higher up.
manager. Yeah. Or
So-
operations manager.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the hiring, you'll enjoy this
Yeah.
story. This is a little insider, some unique insight here. So I'm working at an AM station in Annapolis. I'm helping my high school teacher out, so I didn't have to audition for
Sure.
that gig. I'm
Sure.
lending a hand there. And I get the job at 98 Rock working part-time. But before I did, they plucked me from an AM station in Annapolis, part-timer. So I'm still working. But they had taken another girl that was on Air Talent that I worked with that we were dating at the time, loosely, if that's what you call it. She went into the research department at IYY. And I'm sure the rules were probably the same when you were there. If they were still, man, this is long before the internet.
Right.
And, it was telephone research.
I remember it. I remember the bank every night. They'd sit there, all of them.
Oh, yeah.
And the air staff was not allowed to fraternize.
Correct.
With it was forbidden. Yes, with the research. So
we actually couldn't get in that room. Remember? They'd lock that door where the phone. Do you remember the phone?
That must have been
banks?
before my time because I could get back there. I remember being able to get into the.
I remember when
research people.
I think they'd start at like 6 at night or 5 at night.
Yeah, it was at night for
dinner
sure.
time. Yep. And I was doing afternoons with Russ. I was just a comedian, and he'd go, "Run back in my office and get this." And I'd run back there, and you'd look down that hallway, and that door, and it had a big thing across that said "Don't enter."
Yeah.
It wasn't like a door closed, but just a thing across that hallway. And I remember going back in the studio and asked Russ, "What's all them phones for?"
Don't worry about it.
No, he said, "Well, we rate songs, we do this," and then I learned about it all. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, in the beginning, and this is early. This is 87, like when we had first come on. All this kind of just all happened at the same time. Everything was blowing up. So we couldn't get in that room, but she was in my room, right? We were hanging out together. So she would say, "Yeah, you guys showed up 11 times in the research tonight." Now I'm not supposed to have that information, but I'm just
no, that's awesome.
And then weeks later, it was like, "Yeah, you guys showed up like 175 times tonight in the research." So somewhere when it got to like 200. Oh, and by the way, I got to preface this. When I took the job at 98 Rock, I told them, I said, I work, well, they knew I worked at the AM station, but I said, I'm working for this little project, the Underground over in Dundalk. Is that going to be a problem? They sniggered. They said, this was Tom. That little, no, it's not a problem.
You're fine.
Yeah, right. So I was using the same name, Derek Allen.
Yeah.
My first and middle name, but that was my radio name that I was using. So after we got up to about 200 times in the research, they call me in. I come in, I talk to Tom in his office. Chuck wasn't there for that one. And he's like, "You still on the air?" Or no, he says, "Are you on the air over there?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Are you using the same name?" I said, "Yeah." Again, remember he said, "No problem. Change it."
Right.
So about 5 minutes to 8, we have to turn the transmitter on at 8 o'clock. I'm sitting there on whatever night that was. Before I turned the transmitter on, I got to come up with a name. Well, what I was also doing religion that I had left the WBMD. Oh my God. It's 12 o'clock at WBMD. Here's the Reverend LaFontaine. Point to him. Praise the Lord. Send your money.
Hey, from that to Slayer.
Yeah, right. King Diamond and Slayer.
Yeah.
But for 30 minutes, that was a 30-minute programming live. I could leave the studio, and across the hall was WQSR. Jack Edwards, who Johnny Dark, these guys are old AM legends.
Yeah.
From back, CAO back in the days. So Jack Edwards was a part-timer over there, and I'd sit over there, talk to him, hang out with him. So that's where the Edwards came from.
Got it.
And I needed a 2-syllable. It was Derek Allen is what I was replacing. So came up with Larry like 2 minutes before I turned the thing on. So I became Larry Edwards that followed me all the way down years later to Ocean City when I'm programming a classic rock, and I'm Derek Allen on the air, and some dude in the back's going, "Larry, Larry."
I remember one of the first things somebody said to me the first time I was on the radio was in 98 Rock. What was her name? It wasn't Sarah Flesher, blonde.
That worked at 98?
Yeah, it was on
Kelly Saunders.
No. Oh my God. It'll come to me. Anyway, I'll think of it. She said to me like the first day, she goes, "Hi, I'm," and I said, I am Mickey. And she goes, "Oh my God, what a great radio name." And I go, "What?" She goes, "You have a great name." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "That just sounds cool, like a guy." She goes, "A lot of people have to change their name." And I never knew that. Mm-hmm. Right. And then I'd meet people and they're like, "Well, my real name is, blah, blah, blah." I remember the first time Lopez said, "Call me Bob." And I'm like, "All right, dude, you've been Lopez for 12 years, but Bob it is."
Yeah.
And when you found it, I guess I knew Stash wasn't his real name.
You think?
Yeah, but
clever, Steve Ash.
Yeah, it was brilliant. But so you guys, Tom, let me go back to you a second. So you had these young kids who were so gung-ho and so not only driven by the music, but by the craft itself, radio. Yep. You guys all wanted to be radio guys and loved that music.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like you were metalheads.
Well, I don't know, man. Music came first for me. It really
but
was.
You told
know?
me you were a little kid and you would record.
Well, that's
breaks
true.
In your
You're
bedroom
right. You're right.
You wanted
I
to
did
be
do
a
that.
DJ.
It's very true.
Yeah. And it sounds like you had a love for radio at a young age.
No, the high school and being
Well,
exposed to
would
it, I
say
never
that's
thought,
young.
to be honest, I was pretty introverted. If I know you, I'm not a shy guy, but I'm not walking in a room strangely and be the center of attention. I'm just a wallflower in the corner.
What asshole?
I'm never striving for attention. So
what kind of moron would be that kind of guy?
But radio was a neat concept, and I remember thinking this in the early days in high school that like the whole mentality. And, he was teaching us, it's not, hey, all you people out in radio land.
Yeah.
It's the one-on-one, just stare at a goddamn crumb on the wall and talk to it. Yeah. It's a one-on-one connection. Even though there's whatever the cume is that's listening to you, there's a radio term, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to connect to you and make you feel. That's the magic of radio, that I'm talking to you. I'm just talking to you times however many people.
20,000.
That's why I hated television so much, because television to me is a group participation program.
I understand
you
exactly
sit
what
there,
you mean.
You sit there, it's you against the world. The Wolfman Jack in a little hut somewhere in that movie, right?
Yep.
And he's
American Graffiti.
Yeah. He's sitting there talking to the world, and they're just whatever
eating it up. Yeah.
And that's what I like. I was in radio as a jock. I was a terrible jock. I still am. I do a show from 2 to 4. I don't know why anybody wants to listen to me.
His name was Freddie Gray.
Underground.
Freddie Gray was his name.
Freddie Gray was
He
my
was
name.
the original Freddie Gray.
Come on.
Wait. You were, oh my God, I saw that. You were Freddie Gray before Freddie Gray?
Before Freddie Gray.
Like way before Freddie Gray.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, not hilarious, but wow, that's awesome.
That was Freddie blew his whole game up when all that
happened.
He changed the name.
Yeah.
He was doing the
You should have brought it back, man.
Yeah, I'd have gone to, I would have just gone straight to OJ.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't, it's you got to be good at it. I was never any good at it. And guys like Brillhart and Derek and Matt and all these people,
they were great.
They had the pipes, they had the voice, they could sit there and communicate. I got a guy right now that does Zombie Ritual on the show on Saturday nights. He's not a radio guy, plays all his chainsaw music, as we all say, but he just opens the mic and talks about the music. Talks about the band, talks about I saw this somebody You didn't have to say, hi, this is so and so. You don't do that. You just talk about the music. And it's an art.
No, it is.
And that's the way it's going to be.
I'm not very good at it. And when I see guys that are, like, I can't do the music stuff. I'm not good at it. Like, when I had to do it on 98 Rock, I literally, like, an AC/DC song would be ending. There was no rhythm. I would be like, all right, that was AC. Like, I talk just like this. All right, that was AC/DC. Let me look. All right, here's Motley Crue.
Like, I gotta say, there's a certain charm to that too, actually. And if your passion, our passion was, I think everybody that worked at that station was just extremely passionate about the music and the station. It developed this cult following in Baltimore. And look, for a 10-watt station with a stick that was on top of a high school. The station was the first in the country to play bands. We had the biggest bands of the 80s coming through the studio all the time. We were at the biggest rock club in America, probably, hosting shows. I mean, what are some of the biggest memories and most satisfying memories you guys have from the 97 Underground days?
Oh, Derek, line them up.
Well, Tom was with me when we, and again, we'll at some point, I guess, maybe if you're interested in some of the radio wars, because I have a unique perspective programming and going up against Russ Mahler or 98 Rock. And it's insane to even say that, because the comparison, I've always said this, that 97 Underground in the equivalency with the power and the history and the money and the backing, we were a fly on the tire of a 747
I get
airliner.
I get it.
IYY was. So for them to even acknowledge us.
Well, they had to. You got this. One thing I wanted to tell you guys, Matt, I don't know if you know this. I was still just coming on with Russ. So this has to be 88, maybe 89. And I remember somehow they were talking about you guys had a show at Hammerjacks, and somebody said something like, should we, go after them or whatever? And somebody else in the room said, never chase the guy in the rear view mirror. Eventually you'll catch him. Yeah. And I remember Russ point blank said, yeah, well, they're getting pretty fucking close.
Right.
Yes. I like that.
It was just such a, I just thought, wow, that's a pretty cool acknowledgement.
Yeah.
You know,
That must be because
Well,
he lost. He
yeah.
couldn't get backstage.
So a very prominent memory, part 2 of that.
Yeah.
So I was telling you, they called me in wherever we were at, a couple hundred in the research, change your name. It was only about a week later, they called me in, and Chuck Ducote, first or second time I'd ever met him, he was in there, and Tom Evans, and I come in the office, and they said, this station is becoming, there's a direct quote, an itch in our shorts. And you're going to have to decide if you want to help your high school teacher out or come to work for the big boys.
right?
That's exactly how he worded it. Now, my immediate response without even thinking was, I said, do I have to tell you right now? That pissed Ducote off. He slammed his freaking hand down on the table. He said, no, you got 15 minutes.
Right.
I got up, I walked out, I went to the elevator, hit the button, the doors open, Emery comes out. How you doing, Derek? I've had better fucking days, Chris. I got in the elevator, I went downstairs. Again, no cell phones or anything. I'm crushed, man. This was like my, listen, I'm just a part-timer, but
I get it.
IYY is a nice set of call letters to have on your resume.
Yeah.
So I sit down there for a couple minutes, try to gather my thoughts, and in walks, she had already left IYY, but going back in their history, Kelly Saunders was the other female jock that was on there at that time, but she had left and went to MPT,
Susie
Public
Roger.
Television. Yeah, B104. I used to listen to her.
I was thinking of earlier. Sorry.
No worries. Kelly walks in with reel-to-reel tapes. So I'm sure the building was still the same way when you were there, because you didn't come too long after. So you had that front area desk that you go up to. She's dropping reel-to-reels off. I went up to her. I said, you don't know me, but I know you. You know, I recognized her. She was on a Burger King advertisement with Sarah with a hat on or some stuff. There was some IYY promotion. So I told her what was happening, and I got to go up and give an answer. She said, honey, I can't tell you what to do. All I can tell you is you need to follow your heart.
Every time.
And I went upstairs and I said, listen, I really appreciate the opportunity here. I wasn't shitty about it. I mean, I was devastated.
You were a gentleman. Yeah.
I fell on the sword and I said, but I'm going to go help my high school teacher out. And I'll tell you why, looking back, even though I had to give that up, I had to take a step backwards. I knew we were fucking them the right way.
Yeah, of course.
For them to make me choose I don't care that you're on the air there.
I would have made your choice every time.
Part-timer there, programming, record contacts, just making all these connections.
Matt and well, look, there were big stations that were, looking at 97 Underground, because 97 Underground was getting love from these big labels, because 97 Underground was playing stuff that those other big stations were not playing. So that's how 97 really started to become a thorn in the side of a lot of the industry and a lot of the other stations in town.
That's how it works.
Yeah. But if you some other memories, give me some other memories or bands, or because
bringing Ozzy on stage at the Cap Center, and we had to show up 4 hours. It was a requirement to be there 4 hours before showtime, so we're just watching stagehands and stuff walk around. But finally, the entourage came up with Ozzy, came in the back of the place, and it was funny because I'm sure you remember Bob Costas, but years ago he had a show on called Later, and Ozzy was one of his guests, and I had seen this, and he was talking about his sobriety. So of course, he's always talking about the bat story and pissing on the Alamo and that stuff. But he had, I think he was like 4 or 6 months into sobriety. Well, it didn't hold up, so he must have fell off the wagon from the time of that interview to where he came to the Cap Center, because 2 guys, Ozzy was in the center with his arms flanked around 2 guys, and his feet were dragging. He couldn't even walk. So that was 4 hours before the show, but the show was fantastic. So, and if anybody, I mean, that guy, he was, he's a legend. You know what I mean? He's been operating that way. In other words, that wasn't his first buzz.
That show was so loud. I sat in the front row. I mean, here in the Cap Center, we're handing out these little, what are these things? These
the commemorative passes.
Co-op passes by sound waves in the days when you had to do those kind of things to make it work. Gave one to everybody who come in the door. I'm sitting in the front row. It's the loudest thing, Mickey, I ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
They didn't have earplugs. I asked the guy if he had any cigarettes. He said, yeah, and I bummed 2 cigarettes off and pulled the filters off and put them in my ears so I can watch the rest of the show.
Yeah.
that was a great show there. And it really, really put us on the map. That and the Motley Crue show and some of those other ones.
Going back to Russ Motley, I got to tell a funny story too. This was, I guess, towards the end. when there was a really big guy that was the program director, had black hair, Mike Lee.
Ooh, that
was after me, and
Yeah.
and
That was
Russ took the
103.1
stage. Do you
the
remember
Underground.
that?
Well, and then the other guy that was working there, I think he was either the afternoon or night guy,
Scorching Scotty,
Scotty,
yeah,
big guy.
big guy, gentle giant though.
So he walked on stage. Russ did that thing, right?
Mhm.
And he came off, and that Scott guy came over and grabbed Russ, literally.
No, I
by
think
the
it was
shirt.
Michael Lee that
Michael-
did.
one of
Yes,
them.
Michael did.
Grab-
Michael was drunk,
Yeah.
and Russ played that to the photo finish. It was beautiful
It was
how he
brilliant.
did it in
Do you
terms of
remember the
strategy.
little guy jumping over the bar onto Mike Lee? That story Mike and I have told.
Is that you?
So, dude, I was like 5 feet from it, behind the bar, and I saw him grab Russ, and Russ just stood there like this, staring at him. And he's screaming. I jumped off the bar and like onto Mike's arms, and he kind of went back, and then security got there. And then like I got pushed away. And then I heard Mike tell the story years later, or he told somebody the story, and he said, I had Russ by the throat, man. I was getting ready to kill him. And then this little gnat got me in the eye.
Right.
But he said, I will give that little bastard credit, though. He was tiny, but he was tenacious. But I also knew that guy would have killed me if he got a hold of me.
Yeah.
But no, those were some crazy. There was about a year or two where I think it was really, really toxic between the two. Would you
That's
agree,
the-
Tom?
Yeah.
It was very toxic. He would come in
Yeah.
to the office, and I'd just be worried about where the next dime was coming from,
Right.
and whether we could stay on the air, because we were honestly doing some stuff we weren't supposed to. And they could have killed us.
Yeah.
You guys could have killed us
Yeah.
because we were running commercials, and we weren't supposed to.
We were
We
non-commercial.
were non-com, and we tried, guys. We tried to skirt it and say, okay, you got it. You can only say the name of the company, and you can only say their address.
Right.
And, well, these guys are coming in. Bud Becker's coming in with some stuff and say, hey, we got to do this ad, this and that. And
Hammerjacks,
Yeah.
fools, they're streets.
and I
Yeah.
can't.
You can't
I
do all
said-
that.
And I said, Derek,
Hammerjacks.
Yeah.
I said, Derek, we just can't do it. That's
Right.
why we take a chance.
Right.
And they could have. And I had some friends in the commission who would give me a little nudge once in a while, but 98 Rock and anybody else never did turn around and say, we're going to nail you bastards because you're doing it. They never did that.
I personally think I don't think the legal department, Hearst is a big organization, and I think that the legals, and I think they just never thought of that strategy, because I really believe if Russ would have thought of that, he would have executed it. So he was into Musashi, so the big sword, the little sword. See,
Yeah.
I had all this stuff. I had people on the inside that would help me try to understand Russ Mala. I'm a young kid, so I mean, I had my head in the Trump book and all these things, and this what was that, Eastern religion and philosophy and warfare. That's the kind of stuff, at least at that time, that I was told that Matla was into. So I was reading this Musashi, got the big sword and the little sword. So there's no way he would have exploited that if they would have thought of that. So I think that legal was probably wherever Hearst is headquartered. And did you have attorneys and offices sitting?
Not in the building, but I mean, it's Hearst is in New York City. I mean, it's
They're on call.
It's one of the biggest media companies in the country. I remember I got one FCC complaint, and because I used the word bitch. And I remember Dave Hill said, hey, I just talked to counsel. We're fine. And I'm like, you had to call a lawyer? Like, I felt terrible. I was like, he goes, no, we have lawyers. We just call them whenever we need them.
Right.
And I was like, wow, okay. Like,
Yeah,
I never knew that.
I don't think we went outside of 98 Rock's building. In other words, we weren't on the radar to Hearst in New York or anything. This was just local pissing matches where Russ would get the record label. Like we did, we called them Rock and Roll Fantasy.
Yeah.
So we would do limo ride to the show for winners, front row backstage. And there was one time that my winners didn't get back. I forget what band. It might have been Aerosmith or something. We waited 2 hours and it never happened. So they got the limo ride in the front row, but they never got backstage. But that was Russ because a couple of weeks before, the Colt Bonham and Dangerous Toys were down at the arena. We all had our patches on and we're going back. I know Sarah was one of them, but there was 2 or 3 IYY staff somehow. And all this shit happens behind the scenes, but we had our passes somehow. Not because we were better or anything, but it just worked out that way. But they didn't have their passes. And how that visually looked, that my staff walked in behind that curtain while IYY staff was waiting for their passes.
I get it.
And I took the shot and I said, look, I'm gonna go back here. If you want, I can try to pull a string and get you guys back here. When I came back out, they were gone. They left. So you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it was
good
that
for
kind
you.
of tensions
I love it.
going on.
All right, I'll tell you what, Matt, you want to do like I'm loving this guy. You want to do a
Yep.
short version of the news?
Sure.
All right, we'll get through a couple things, guys. Chime in if you want.
Sure.
It is the best news in the business. Go ahead, Matt.
What if your morning coffee held a secret? Well, in the world's blue zones, where people live exceptionally long and vibrant lives, our beans are born. This is Coffee Belong, a rich, smooth coffee grown from a tradition of wellness. It's more than a drink. It's a sip of happiness. Taste the secret. Find your happiness at coffeebelong.com.
All right, it is brought to us by Coffee Balam. Make sure when you go to coffeebalam.com, you mention Mickey Talks for 10% off. Now here it is, the best news we have for you. That's the facts, Matt.
So I don't know if you heard the latest news on this New Orleans mayor. She and her bodyguard have been charged with fraud over an alleged romance. That would be here she is here. That'd be Mayor LaToya Cantrell and her former bodyguard Jeffrey Vappy. They were charged with fraud and corruption, accused of misusing public funds to conceal an alleged romantic relationship. Federal prosecutors charged them Friday. They falsely claimed that Vappy was on duty while spending time together, including during 14 trips between 2021 and 24, costing taxpayers about $70,000. They were using a WhatsApp's auto delete function to hide thousands of messages, treating a city-owned apartment as a private residence, intimidating subordinates, and lying to investigators. Cantrell, New Orleans' first female mayor, has not commented. She leaves office in January. And if convicted, she and Vappy face fines of up to $250,000 and multi-year prison terms.
Wow.
Welcome to the new world.
Yeah, man. It's like doesn't even matter
It
anymore.
doesn't
They just
matter.
do it till they get caught.
Yeah.
It's almost like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we get caught, we get caught.
Right.
Nothing
Exactly
going to
what
happen
happens.
to us.
Yep.
Thank you. Nothing.
Yeah, it seems like it's on every level of the government, and nobody's ever in handcuffs or paying fines, do they?
No.
Well, why would they be, Matt?
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
it benefit? You
Right.
know?
Sure.
Yeah.
They're not going to get money back. They're not going to get any of that shit. And they're
Right.
certainly not going to arrest people because those people could tell about other people.
Yeah.
Don't you know how the system works, Matt?
So
Come on. I know you're a good guy, Matt. But believe it or not, there's dickheads out there.
no, come on.
Come on.
You're lying. So PETA is mad again. This time they're mad about Mario Kart. Yeah, the latest target is Mario Kart. They want Nintendo to remove Moo Moo Cow's nose ring because they believe it's a sign of animal abuse.
Oh, shut up.
Nintendo hasn't responded yet.
If I can I, do you mind if I just take a minute to
Yeah.
address PETA?
Go ahead,
I'm
man.
going to say this so I can isolate it later. This part is for PETA. Fuck you. Go ahead, Matt.
Don't most of them have this nose ring? Most
Dude,
of the PETA
I
people?
don't even care.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the PETA people have nose rings.
Also, are
Yeah.
they aware that the game involves chucking turtle shells?
Yeah, they don't care. It's whatever makes them look good.
Yeah.
People for the ethical treatment of animatronics.
Yeah.
Don't they tie the balls of bulls up to get them
Yes.
for PBR?
Yeah.
So what the hell's the difference between that and putting a nose? I mean,
I think the cow would take the ring over
Exactly.
the balls of a bull getting tied together. Yeah, I know if somebody gave me the choice, hey, I'm going to put a strap on your nuts really tight so
Yeah.
you scream and go crazy,
Yeah.
or I can put a nose ring in. I'm going to go with the nose ring every time. Yeah.
So you guys don't have Gen Z kids. I don't know if you've had to deal with
Don't I?
with the brain rot. Well, do you or were your kids involved with the brain rot kind of language?
I don't know what you mean. I mean, my kids they were born in my
Yeah,
first
I
was
think-
03.
I think they're on the older end of Gen Z. The
Okay.
younger Gen Z has words like skibbity and delulu, which have now been added apparently to the Cambridge Dictionary. Slang term skibbity comes from the viral Skibbity Toilet series. It's a zany word that is used playfully with varying or no meaning. It can also mean cool or bad. And meanwhile, delulu is short for delusional. It describes choosing to believe things that aren't real on purpose. There's a whole language that you guys have
I
missed.
think I smoked Skibbity with Skid Row in
Yeah, I know.
1988.
I know last night I had a little skibbity before I fell asleep.
right there.
I'm with Derek. Ain't no doubt about it. I got no problem with Skibbity.
It was puff pass shit right there. Three
Yeah.
puffs.
Yeah.
Both terms reflect internet culture's growing influence on language. They joined over 6,000 new entries this year, including trade wife or trad wife, red flag, and work wife going into the dictionary.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I don't understand people needing all these new names for shit. I hate, when it's the same when people ask me, how come you never learned this? You're a smart guy. Why didn't you learn multiple language? Well, English has all the words in it. I feel like saying it.
Right.
Like, I don't
It covers
understand
it
what
all.
the fucking problem is.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been in a position in my life where I went, what's the French word for go fuck yourself? Like, I don't know. I just can say it in English and it pretty much, sums it up for me where I'm at,
Well, this skibbity language, all this brain rot language, it's almost like its own language, man. You won't
Yeah.
even understand these young kids now.
I know it's so weird how they honestly just, they have no, like, I guess it's like, I mean, when we were young, we used words that I guess kind of caught on. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about it, that were really our generation that are now in the vernacular. Like, I hate to say it, but like the word awesome, like,
Yeah,
awesome,
that was an 80s thing.
that was
yeah.
a total 80s thing.
Yeah.
Rad.
But
Like,
at least we knew what those words meant.
Right,
Like,
I don't
we don't know
think-
what skibbity and delulu mean.
Or the greatest pause word in history, like.
Like, yeah.
Like I said, I got up and like I had a headache
Yeah.
and like I had to get aspirin and like I had, I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
how many times can you say this? Do you even
I-
understand you're doing it?
I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to say who because I don't want to start any political bullshit. But I literally watched. This is driving me out.
What
of
are you
my
doing
mind.
with the microphone,
Dude,
man?
it won't hold. I mean, these guys witnessed it. It's just
You're all over that thing,
it's,
though, man.
it's like I got to balance
Mickey needs
it.
a roadie over there or
Look,
something.
right there.
man.
There you go.
Look, now I won't touch it, but trust me, it'll fall again. What was I just saying? God damn it! What was I talking about? Please.
Exactly.
What was it? Do
I
you
don't
remember?
know.
It was non-political, whatever it was.
Oh, the word like. I watched a lady testifying in front of the Congress the other day.
Mhm.
And literally the question was, do you support something in our school systems? And she goes, this is a PhD woman, young, said, I mean, yeah, like if kids need it, like, yeah, I guess like we got to do it. Because like, if you don't start thinking of like what they're thinking of, like they're not going to know like what to do when they get older. Like, you know what I mean?
It's crazy
And I
the
was
way
like-
Congress talks, man.
I went, what
Yeah.
the fuck? That's
Yeah.
a doctor.
yeah.
It's called word salad.
Yeah, it's unreal. And then I'm watching it and I'm thinking, why don't we just ask like cheerleaders and shit?
He said this is like bullshit right
Yeah,
here.
this is like totally like bullshit. Exactly.
Even the barmaids at Hammerjacks could give a conversation
Oh,
better than
I'll
that.
tell you what, there were some barmaids at Hammerjacks that could have been Secretary of State. I guarantee you that. I'll tell you what, Jana was one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life. And if you ever had a political discussion with her, you would leave with your head between your tails. There were some smart women in that
Oh,
place.
yeah.
And beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else we got, buddy?
So there's a guy who hijacked a crane on the interstate and he caused 4 crashes. Louisiana State Police arrested 37-year-old Matthew Vincent of Vinton after he hijacked a construction crane in a work zone on I-10. He abandoned his truck, crossed the highway, climbed into the crane, and swung the boom over the westbound lanes. That triggered 4 crashes involving several cars, injuring 2 people and causing major damage and a long road closure. He's facing all kinds of charges.
I can dig
Stuff
it.
right now. Yeah. Take that, Florida man.
Totally.
What in the hell are you doing with a crane? What?
Well, I tell you one thing that's cool. You can clean up your own shit
Yeah.
pile. Hey, guys, before you lock me up, let me straighten all this up. I apologize.
I mean, who left the keys in the crane? That's what I
Everybody
wanna know.
knows you
Well,
don't leave the keys
Well,
in the
I
crane.
will
No.
tell you this. When we were I wasn't a kid. I can't lie.
Yeah.
I was probably in my 30s. And
I think the statute of limitations is passed.
it was before I was married and had kids. And one night we were drinking after very late at night, 3:30, 4 in the morning. And in my neighborhood where I was living, they were building houses. And we just walked over there. It was a nice night. And the Bobcat, I got in it, let's like sit in it. My friends were smoking pot and I'm just sitting in it, drinking a little bit. And I looked down, the keys were in it. I turned it on. The lights came on. I had no idea what I did
at the time.
I put the thing in gear and I didn't know how to stop it. I had to drive in a circle until my buddy was like, man, I'm going to jump on. And he jumped on it and figured out how to stop.
What kind of vehicle was it?
I don't know what they're called.
Like a Bobcat.
Kind of, but it was a little different. It was bigger.
Yeah. What kind of weed was he smoking? He was able to jump in.
Shoo.
Yeah, steal a crane. You gotta get some meth first before you steal a crane.
You might need a local.
His name is Matthew, but he's we'll call him Matthew from now. Right?
Matthew.
So there are people who are donating their pets to be lion food.
Oh, cool.
In case you missed it, about a week ago, a zoo in Denmark made waves for asking pet owners to donate their aging animals to be fed to lions and tigers.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Bears were like, whoo, finally.
Well, many were appalled by this request. At least one woman has stepped up. She donated her daughter's pony. She says she donated her 13-year-old daughter's German riding pony to the zoo, and she has no regrets. She says it might sound very dramatic and bizarre that you would feed your pet animals to the zoo, but it's not like they're alive when they're given to the predators. Could you do that?
No,
No,
not
at all.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's some people I might donate and throw in
There
there,
you
but
go.
other than that, not any animals.
Right. So South Korea is now using life-size holographic police officers to fight crime. Korean police have been testing life-size holographic police officers to make people feel safer and to also stop crime in busy areas. So every evening from 7 to 10, a 3D hologram of a uniformed police officer over 5'7" tall appears in a park, and you can see the guy right here. It's kind of a ghostly figure. Is that going to stop you from committing crime?
Jack Webb in a uniform.
No, it will not stop me from committing crime. It will stop me from making bad career choices.
That's true.
I can tell you that much. Because if I have to wear that uniform, I don't know what that uniform is. I can't tell if that guy's a pilot.
It's a South Korean police officer.
That guy's South
He doesn't look
Korean.
South Korean.
That guy looks like South Baltimore.
Try that in South Baltimore. See how it works.
Am I right, Tom?
You're right.
That guy looks like he lived in any neighborhood inside the city's.
Looks like a pilot for Southwest.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
It looks like a pilot outfit.
Well, it's solving crime issues over in Asia.
Well, good
Stop.
for them. If it works,
Stop.
stop or I'll do nothing.
You go no trouble.
Yeah.
So there's an Australian man who says he's the world's only coffin confessor. His name is Bill Edgar. He's getting booked more and more frequently to confess things at people's funerals. The job he signs up for is to attend someone's funeral and reveal personal secrets to their loved ones. He gets a fee of around $6,700. He's hired to share final thoughts that the dying person once told at their farewell, even if that means revealing shocking truths. It gives the person the chance to speak when they can't anymore. And he says one of the most popular things he's asked to do by someone before they die is to poke their body with a pin. With one man telling Edgar he's afraid of being buried alive.
Wow. I'm
Can't see
petrified
anything
to be
good
buried
coming
alive.
out of that.
That's why
Me
that's
either.
why they have cremations.
How many we got left, Matt?
We got a couple more, buddy.
All right, you want to do them all?
Yeah.
I just want to. Yeah.
So police have arrested a man for staging his own kidnapping in Nigeria. They arrested a 29-year-old man named Bello Aziz in Nigeria for the unique crime of staging his own kidnapping to extort money from his family. Police say he crafted a false abduction report, likely hoping to make his relatives pay a ransom. He had asked, it probably wasn't hard to figure it out because they had asked his father for $500,000 Nigerian naira, which is $325. If you didn't have to convert that to pay off a debt, and he was turned down.
I couldn't even deal with it.
There are no words.
The debt? No way.
Wait, you wouldn't pay the ransom? You're saying?
Fuck no. What'd they have? What were they holding?
$325.
I could use that somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can use that. Yeah, screw that guy.
Yeah.
I'm not letting him win.
No, not at all.
All right, and people are hiring a woman to try and seduce their boyfriends. So there's a woman named Lana Madison. She was recently featured in a New York Post story that explained how women pay her to attempt to seduce their boyfriends. The women want to know if their boyfriends are capable of cheating. So Madison flirts, comes back with a report, and then cashes in.
Oh man,
That's where we're at today.
that's
Yeah.
nothing.
I guess. Okay. What do you say?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like if you got to do that, then why are you with this person at all?
I don't know what to say. Yeah.
But a true player would get with candy samples,
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
do the deed with her, and get half the money from her. He'd be paying her too.
I ain't that much of a player.
He didn't go for it by she pulling her dress up.
All right, man. Good job. Let's go back here. We are with Derek Allen and Tom Pless, who created 97 Underground, legendary radio station that launched the careers of many, many hard rock and heavy metal bands. 97 Underground taught a lot of major rock stations that went on to survive how to do it. And these guys are in the studio with us. It's where Matt Davis, my incredible partner, started. And we've been talking a lot about these guys, but you still have it alive online, right?
He does.
Tell
yes.
us about 97.com or 97underground.com.
.com. Well, as you well know, it's went off the air for God knows how long as 97. And then we ended up, I was getting ready to retire. I had this version of it at the high school. Wasn't doing much. Mike Brillhart was working with me. He was working on the music situation. He was doing stuff from the studio, and he didn't really want to do it when we started, but I said, let's just try it. Keep it going. What good? So he would program it from his work.
Yep.
And I would keep it running. And, the internet was lousy from Baltimore County, so it was on or it was off. It was on or it was off. And so I was supposed to get in bed with the guy who was going to put up the new Hammerjacks. And I was going to get a room there to do the whole thing, the whole grandiose idea.
Yeah.
That never materialized, as we all know.
Really? What happened?
I don't think we know.
I wonder what happened with that. I heard a lot about it. Hammerjacks was going to reopen, man.
Yeah, it didn't fly. So
That seems weird.
I ended up taking it home when I retired, and I said, it's going to be a little project. And I put it up, did something. And then I ran into Derek again after a number of years. We'd seen each other, talked to each other on different times, and he was working his business. And he's kind of talked me into saying, hey, why don't you do it full form? Why don't you do it? He said, I'll help you with it. And I said, well, I was 73 then. And
wait a minute. What the hell are you now?
I'm going to be 75 next month.
Look at this no-agent son of a bitch. I got to start listening to heavy metal, hanging out with high school kids. I don't know what the hell. Man, you look great,
Thank
man.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So anyway, we got together and he worked on this new piece of computer software that he wanted me to buy. And, we just kind of worked it out. And then COVID hit. And Derek said, why don't you put in a studio and do live? I said, oh, come on, man. I'm terrible at this.
Right.
I said, I'm a behind the scenes guy, an engineer. I said, so you can build a studio. So I did.
Yeah.
He built the console, great woodman. Did all that, put it up, put it on the air, and bingo. We
In his basement in his house. He goes downstairs with a cup of coffee.
We did
Goes on
that.
the air.
We did that, and I ended up working with Rob Amos, who is one of our disc jockey, one of
Rock and
one of our
Rob,
jocks,
back in the
who
day.
actually runs a streaming company in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And we jumped on his bandwagon and did that. And
So is your music license covered under
yes, it
him?
is. No, it's not. I cover it myself.
So you have an internet music license to play music
ASCAP and BMI.
I pay
pays.
ASCAP and BMI.
Can I
every
ask
year.
you a question?
Mhm.
Why?
What does something like that cost? So you can play music.
It's $400 and some for BMI, and I think it's $250, $280
For the year?
For the year.
Well, they do it all on how much music you're playing and I think
Yes.
off your revenue, right?
Well, they do with your revenue, but most of it's your music. So every time they send it, you go into your logs and you pull up all your music that you played for that month. It's in a file.
Right.
And you just download it, send it to them, and they smile at you, and that's it. I've been
Yep.
doing that since we've been doing this.
That's less than
I
$1,000.
told him to do it so he could sleep at night because,
Yeah.
to be honest with you, 99% of the people out there playing
I mean,
music on the
They're
internet
not.
are not paying. It's not
doing
fair.
this.
Listen, Cinderella ain't getting rich from Tom's little
Sure,
money
but-
he's putting in.
But he's doing his
But
part.
he can
right.
sleep at night knowing
Right.
he's doing his part. If everybody else did their part,
It's like everything else. Both
It
my
might add
sons are
up.
musicians. So you say to yourself, I should be paying that kind of stuff. You know,
I totally get it.
So the idea, and we've been doing this since 2019.
It's somebody's phone. I
It's not
apologize.
mine.
Some
Oh, yes, it is mine.
whose
Sorry.
is it?
sounds like
It's
the ice
fine.
cream man.
Yeah.
The ice cream man is here.
The ice
No,
cream
it-
man
it tell-
is
it-
coming.
It tells me to
somebody.
tells me to take out the garbage.
Is
at
that what
6
it is?
o'clock.
Yeah. I thought it was reminding you to pee.
No.
I just set my alarms now to remind me to pee.
No.
Yeah.
But that's, we've been doing this since 2019.
Wow.
And there's never been a problem with that. So Derek was right. You're doing it to try to be a good guy and pay the people who are not getting paid for this,
Right.
even though our little, we have a small piece.
So for less than $1,000 a year, you can play music as much as you want.
Correct.
Yeah.
What are we
Just
doing?
get it done. Find a sponsor. Find
Well,
a music.
we've got
The only-
more
the only-
complications
the only-
than
the
only
just doing a
problem you
radio
get-
station,
The
unfortunately.
only
Mick.
problem you get is with YouTube. For instance, we have
Right.
a YouTube
Right.
channel
Right.
We're on a
that,
bunch of different platforms.
that we throw up videos.
Yeah, but if you're paying the licensing fee,
But that's the problem. They will shut it down, not shut it down, but they'll take you off, and then
Yeah,
you have to
demonetize you.
Go
you
ahead.
have to tell them, oh, hey, I have this license. Here's my number,
right?
and you send it back to them, and then they put it back up. But you have to do it for every band who
Yeah.
decides they don't
No
want it.
bueno.
I
It's a
get
lot.
it. We're going to figure that out.
It's a
though.
lot.
Yeah, and we're going to.
But anyway, that's the music stuff. So
That's amazing, though, man.'re doing it right. You're doing it
Yeah.
by the rules. And I mean, how's it doing for you? I mean, what can we do to help you?
it's a. I'll tell you right now,
Yeah.
I got over 1.5 million listeners worldwide.
Wow.
And you have your ups and downs. It's like anything else. You look at the numbers. What's the phrase? You live by the book, you die by the book.
Right.
So up, down, here, there, but the numbers keep improving. I have a huge overseas, a huge national audience.
Yeah.
Baltimore's no longer a rock town as far as
I
I'm
agree.
concerned.
I agree with that.
Yeah, we still do. We do advertising too, which is Derek had said you need to do this too. And I'm the only person that does it. I'm the sales guy.
No, you're not.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
I'm the sales guy. I do the programming every day. I put 15 shows in that run each week. I do music, playlist, the whole 9 yards. And I
Okay,
say,
you do more than me.
and
I'm
I
not gonna
say-
lie. And Matt combined.
you look at it and you get up the next morning and you say, all right, I got to go out and sell. And the problem is when you're by yourself, you don't have enough time to do all the sales you need to do. But we have enough to where we're in the black. And I said, as soon as I go into red and I have to go into my pocket, I might be done because you can sell on the internet. A lot of people say, no, you can't.
Right.
When I talked to Mike way back when, he said, no, we can't. You can't sell anything on the internet. Nobody will buy it. Well, if the price is right
Of course.
and you service the account
Yeah.
and you do what they do properly,
Yeah.
you can make enough money to survive.
Oh, I get. I'm going to check Rumble right now. I'm not sure if you know what that is, but our Rumble audience is like the kindest, most unbelievable people. Are they not, Matt? Just
Yeah, they're
unreal.
amazing.
And I would just want them to go. They'll follow it or whatever it's called. And yeah, man, 97underground.com. You
Yeah,
know, I'm a fan.
We're going to play the music until we can't do it anymore. The way we do it is a little bit different than before. Derek set up a pattern for me because he is a programmer, and he's been doing. He said, "What do you want to do? Do you want to do oldies or do you want to do new stuff?" I said, "Well, if you want oldies, people are
At
paying.
what percentage? I put him a bunch of clocks out.
They're paying
Yeah.
for Hair
You want
Nation.
to go
That's what they want to
60-40,
do.
70-30.
So we did
legacy, new music.
So we did
Yeah.
50% new and 50% of the old.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, the 50% new has brought in new bands, new business, new audiences who like that.
I feel like you have to do that now because when we were on the air as 97 Underground back in the day, metal was relatively new, and it was hot, the hottest thing. And other than the classic rock bands, there wasn't really a classic heavy metal and rock, unless you're talking about like Sabbath and, like I said, some of the classic bands. But you have to do that now. I think you have to pay tribute to all those old bands, and then feed people the new metal that's coming out.
Mm-hmm. And that's worked really well for us. And so
I've just thought of a way to game the system. So this is the album we would put out in '87.
Yeah,
if you
I'm
just
gonna
play
show
this
to the
over and over again, you ought to get a refund to offset your ASCAP BMI.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Matt, can you read like who was on this? I can't really read it holding it like this. I don't know if you can or can't.
Well, you ought to be
Wrathchild's on there. I think this is the one with Mystic Force. I can't remember.
Snidely Crunch.
Child's Play is on there.
Mona Lisa.
Let me look now.
Found on the Highway Dead.
Chapels.
And that came out in what year?
Billy
What year
Bam
was
Bam.
that, you guys?
87.
87.
First year. We came right out of the gate with that. Burlhart and I worked together.
There's 10
on
of them.
that,
10 of them
project.
left.
Are you serious? You have 10 left?
When we go out and do remotes, because it's like the way it is what you guys do. We do broadcast remotes from anywhere in the world. We take the coffin out,
Right.
we set it down. We'll do M3 or some of these places we've done them before, and we'll broadcast live right from there. You can control the studio right from there.
Yeah.
So you try to sell these every once in a while, or a bunch of shirts and things that you work with. So it's.
So you're on your own and learning this, hustling on,
dude.
you got to stay within budgets.
Yeah.
Everything that's underground, he had told you, like the equipment, he would get that from being an engineer, old blown out equipment. Like that
and he'd
console
fix
we
it
had,
and
that
work it,
RCA was from the 40s or something.
That was old.
Okay, so we were using that. But even this, shout out to Teresa Torba. She was one of the air talents that we had. She was an artist. She painted this.
That's amazing.
Des, my stepsister, her dad and my mom were together for 18 years, but she worked at a printing company and was able to put all this together. The bands paid for this album.
Right.
I just wanted an album. 98 Rock had albums out.
Yeah.
I wanted to be like them, emulate, right? So greatness, you emulate greatness. So I wanted to be just like them. Legend on the inside too. Do you remember? I don't know how much you know about the techie stuff, but the music, when you played music, you didn't play much in the morning, but Selector, you had a log, and Selector was the program.
Yeah.
Well, when I worked at IYY, I just copied 4 pages of my show, took it back to a guy that we had who's the C in PCA Communications, Roger Clary.
He built it for you.
Oh my God. He just built a homemade Selector.
Yeah.
On a Commodore 64.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't have that guy's number, do you? All right, we got to move the show on right now, Matt. Let's do it. The best music biz in the business.
Craving something delicious in Falston? Look no further than the Falston Barrel House. We've got a chef-inspired menu featuring modern twists on comfort food, mouth-watering barrel burgers, and so much more. Pair it with our incredible selection of craft beers, all on draft. And when the sun goes down, the good times keep rolling with the area's best live entertainment. From local bands to acoustic sets, we bring you fantastic music to make your night even better. The Falston Barrel House offers a vibrant atmosphere and friendly service. That's the Falston Barrel House, your neighborhood spot for great food, good times, and the best live entertainment around.
All right, everybody, that is the Falston Barrel House bringing us Matt's Music Minute. Matt.
All right, so we were talking, I think it was last week, about all the rumors about Metallica possibly being the band that's going to be at the Super Bowl. Those rumors are still flying.
Yeah.
It's going to happen right around Metallica's hometown of San Francisco, of course. But now there are rumors that it's going to be Taylor Swift playing the Super Bowl halftime show.
I'm all for it. That's a legit star, man.
Yeah, she
care.
might have hinted at headlining the Super Bowl halftime show last week when she says she's obsessed with sourdough. Sourdough Sam is the mascot for the 49ers, and that's where Super Bowl 60 is going to go down.
Sounds like it's happening.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, she's not smart enough to make that reference any other way.
I mean, what are the chances we're going to get Metallica and Taylor Swift on stage?
It would be the ultimate show if you think about it.
They would do something like that with like Metallica, Lady Gaga. They would
Of course.
probably bring like a Post Malone in.
Do you think
to do it with
Metallica
them.
fans would lose their mind if they shared a stage?
Taylor Swift? I mean, what would she even sing with?
Dude, I
Nothing
guarantee
Else Matters.
they could do a cover of something badass.
Yeah.
Like take something that's a classic.
Yeah.
And have her and just do a ridiculous Metallica with a female vocal. That
She could come out dressed in leather.
yeah, I mean she could be a badass, but do you think Metallica fans would accept it?
There's always going to be the people complaining about it. But I mean, people complained when they did that thing with Lady Gaga, but I think she's
anybody
great.
that
She's a true rocker, a true musician.
Lady Gaga could be in Metallica.
Right.
Like, shut up.
Sure.
You're a moron. Yeah, I'm with you.
So I don't know if you guys heard, but Ronnie Rondell Jr., he was the stuntman who was set on fire for the iconic Pink Floyd Wish You Were Here album cover.
Yeah.
Just recently passed away. One of the most famous album covers in rock history featured two men shaking hands, with one of them being on fire.
Yep.
Of course, I'm talking about Wish You Were Here. Sadly, the man passed away. And besides going down in rock history for that album cover, he was a Hollywood stuntman with hundreds of films and television shows to his credit. His last credit was in The Matrix Reloaded, where he worked on the epic car chase scene, for which his son, R.A. Rondell, was the stunt coordinator. He was 88 years old.
Just curious, was he cremated or did he finish his job?
That's a crazy story. Have you ever heard the story about the day they shot that? You're looking at the Warner Brothers lot in Burbank, California. That's where it all took place. And it was two stuntmen. It was him, it was Ronnie, and it was also Danny Rogers. And Rondell had the tougher job. They protected him with a fire retardant layer underneath his suit. They shot him 15 times, set him on fire 15 times. And the last one, he was like, that's it. No more. They had to roll him around.
My first call was my agent. Like, you're fired.
Hey, if you guys are cool, I'm going to be done for a while, if that's okay with everybody.
Luckily, the photographer got the shot. So, it ended up being amazing. Iron Maiden's Bruce Dickinson says they have no interest in playing at the Las Vegas Sphere, which bums me out. He says that Iron Maiden doesn't want to do it. Bruce shut down the idea of the band playing at the state-of-the-art venue in a recent interview. He explained, Maiden is about the relationship between the band and the audience, and the show is an enhancement of what we do. And he believes that the band would be very uncomfortable with the idea of playing at the Sphere. He thinks that the venue's large LED screen would render a live band irrelevant. And
really?
I don't feel that way at all.
I don't either.
I think they would be a prime band for the Sphere. With their on-stage theatrics and
maybe Maiden's audience don't have $500 a ticket.
I think
I disagree though. I think they do. I
think the Iron Maiden audience is, at least mid 50s and up.
Oh, has to be.
Yeah. And, I do think that they would be the right kind of clientele. But I honestly, I don't know if that's the right venue for Iron Maiden. I could be dead wrong.
A giant Eddie and then them doing the Trooper, and you can actually smell the gunpowder.
No, I get it, man. I do get it. I don't know.
Speaking of Maiden, Mark Z, who was a DJ at 97 Underground, he literally follows the band around. He'll see them multiple times per tour. And I guarantee he would be out in Las Vegas with those guys.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely.
Any true Maiden fans making the voyage.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Without question.
So Liam Gallagher says he can no longer throw maracas into the crowd. He's being forced to end his tradition of throwing his instruments into the crowd during Oasis reunion shows due to safety concerns.
They can throw green dildos at the W.
Right.
Yeah, can't throw that.
What's wrong with the world? What is wrong with the world?
Right.
During the band's recent gig in Edinburgh, Gallagher said he was told he can't throw his tambourine and maracas out anymore. The band is said to have been put in place because a woman was hurt after two men tried to wrestle maracas from her at a recent concert. And in another incident, a fan who caught maracas posted a photo of a welt on her head on social media. And I got to say, I learned a hard lesson while I was working with 97 Underground at Hammerjacks. And in those days, they would give you, the record companies, we would get these boxes of CDs to throw out to the audience. And I was just zinging these things out.
Oh, you take somebody's eye out
and messed somebody up really bad. Yeah. And that was the last time I ever did that.
Yeah, I never threw CDs.
Yeah.
I would do this, right off the stage, kind of drop them.
That's what I did from then on. I was like, I probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah, Matt, I'm in charge of giving stuff away from around here now that I know that's. Well, listen, I got to tell you guys, this has really been a treat for me. I always remembered the station. Oh, Tom, I want to say, I'd said this off air, but I want to say it on air. Your son, Matt, Matt Pless. Does that how people can find him?
That's him, mattpless.com.
I want to say, I think he was 16 years old.
Yeah.
When I met him. He was a young kid in a band called Three Prong Outlet.
Right.
I remember Steve was the bass player.
Steve Schmiel.
I love that kid, by the way. And he's not a kid; he's a grown-ass man. But a kid when I met him, and the drummer. God, I don't remember.
There was 2 or 3 drummers, but his name was Grant.
Grant.
Can't think of his last name. He's a veterinarian now.
I believe
Wow.
it. But your son at that age had such an incredible understanding of music and hooks. Just a great songwriter. And I have followed him from afar, from very far, and he's just killing it out there. And so if you love great songwriting, the kid is a punk rock kid at heart.
We need to have Matt on the show.
I would kill to have Matt on this show.
He'll be back from Europe tomorrow.
Perfect.
And
wow.
All we got to do is
coordinate it.
It
is an open door for Matt.
Great songwriter, and I mean, he tours he is a road dog.
Yeah,
he is. I mean, how often is he on the road now, Tom?
He's at least half, maybe 3/4
Wow.
of the year. I mean,
Incredible.
This last tour he did with 56 cities, I thought he was just and he just rented a car and drove.
Wow.
And the booking agent sometimes didn't realize, you got 8 hours to drive, and then you got to do a 2-hour gig that night.
Yeah.
Get up the next morning, drive another 8 hours.
I get it. It's grueling, man.
It is.
It is. Well, Matt Pless, check him out. That's MattPless.com.
Yeah,
look up that guy. He's incredibly talented. Anything else we can plug for you guys? Or
plug. First of all, I'm going to say it. This is my first podcast.
No kidding.
I've never done one of these before. And I just want to say, you guys made me, I was really apprehensive, but coming in made me feel just like I'm one of the guys.
Oh.
And it's just great to talk to you people. You have a great setup here.
Thank you, man.
And I think, what you do in terms of the news and how you handle yourself and the fun that you're having, kudos to you. It's a good job.
Well, thank you, Tom. I appreciate that.
Half the battle was just being here, showing up.
Matt, say it every
You'll
day.
figure out everything behind the scenes.
If we make it here by 5, we're doing the show.
That's right.
We were talking earlier, and you were saying you
like I
work
said.
for a company, and you just kind of get complacent, and then when you're at the top, you know what I mean.
Well,
You got to figure all this out.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's like I said, getting up in the morning's half the battle. You get up, you start a week. There's 15 shows you got to get in. You got to do a lot. And I don't have a producer for my show, so I got to wing it as I go through. And then I give away tickets on the air, which always increases that.
Yeah, I get it.
So it's one of those kind of things. But if you want to listen to us, we're 97underground.com. We have our own phone app on each one of the platforms for Apple and for Android. So you can go there and download it. We have a Roku channel on Fire Stick, and we have a Roku channel on Roku.
Oh, that's amazing! I had no idea about the Roku
channel.
channels.
Go there and
very
watch the ads from the companies that we
That's
do.
awesome.
And you can also
We gotta look
listen
into
to the
that
When
music.
you get
Matt.
your car Android Auto and
All
Apple
that
Play,
stuff
all that
works
automatically hooks up. Just pull it right
And,
up to your car.
So you got to try to deal with as many platforms. We also
Trust me, we know.
Yeah,
it's,
you're doing it.
It's something, but doing it live, is something. I've been approached sometimes because I know how to do it. When I was in high school teaching, we did morning announcements and stuff with the TriCaster unit and all that junk that we did, and did it live. But I've never seen someone do it like you guys have done, and I'm sure there's hundreds of people who do it. But I see
just us.
But
I'm kidding.
But I see how it's set up, and it's really a nice.
What's he
nice
changed
system.
the cameras?
Yeah, Matt's over there
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Camera
it's,
one,
Because
camera two.
if it was left to me, there would have been one shot this whole show. I would have forgot to change it. Never looked up to see if it was on.
Well, I promoted you guys.
Thank you,
2
man.
days
And we have to.
and see how it goes.
In all sincerity, gentlemen, seriously, what you did deserves a really cool documentary.
I was going to bring that up. We were
Yeah.
talking about that last week, and I think Derek and I talked about this too. And I think that's something we should approach. We should figure out to really tell the entire story of 97 Underground would have to be done documentary style.
And I think it's a fascinating story.
Yeah.
And Matt, I'm going to give you the last words here, but I just want to say something. As a guy that came up at the same time you guys were doing that thing, and I was, prime age to pay attention. I never thought it's weird. When I think back on it, you guys were a real radio station to me. Like I lose memory of the fact that you were such a tiny signal because of the impact you had on the scene. And that in itself, I think, is what the true story is. Yeah. You were literally an ant comparatively to the big boys, yet you showed up.
We acted like a flamethrower, though. Man.
Dude, it was unreal. And so, trust me, from a kid from the other side of the tracks that was fighting you, well done, gentlemen. Well, sincerely.
Thank you.
It's what you do, because you don't have to have a whole lot of power to be number one. You can turn around and look at stations in Baltimore. Yeah. WWIN right now is the number one station in the market.
I know.
They're 3 kilowatts.
I know.
Okay. So it's what you put on the air.
Agreed.
And how
it's not what you got.
How your product
you
is.
It.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Well, don't let me back on it. I got some shit to say. Matt, I'm going to let you wrap this show
well, Derek
up.
and Tom, I just want to say, first of all, thank you guys. I want to say this publicly. Thank you guys for giving me my first shot into radio. I don't know where I would be in my career. I don't know that I would have accomplished the things that I was able to accomplish in my career if it wasn't for you guys giving me my first shot. And especially just some kid rolling up who was, calling into the station as a listener. So
I want to thank you for every one of those subs you went and got for us. He was a sub runner to start, but that was paying the dues. So we let him hang around, told you to go to broadcast school. Same thing with Kevin. God bless his soul. We just lost Kevin. Last year, Kevin Cash. Same deal. He called me up when I was doing that marathon thing for 60 hours on the air. Yep. How do I get into it? I said, go to broadcast school, go to BIM.
That's exactly what he told me.
Come back and show me that you graduated. I'll give you the shot.
Yep.
So
that's exactly what happened. I mean, he taught me a bunch of skills, told me to go to school, came back, gave me my shot. So thank you for that. And thank you guys for coming down here and telling the story. And I hope that not only will people support 97 Underground at 97underground.com, but I hope we can find a way to make this documentary come to fruition and really tell the entire story and get some other voices involved that were part of this back in the day.
I would love to, because time is short.
You're not kidding, my friend. And it's, and Matt knows this. I want to say this because you guys are a perfect example of this. I've said many times, one of the things I really want this show to be is sort of the, for lack of a better term, the Library of Congress for things that happened in town.
Right.
That nobody assembles all the stories. Wherever you're from, that story. Right. And that perspective. And I've just enjoyed, whether it's been bands, whether it's been musicians, now you guys with the radio station and other radio people and television people that have been on, there's thousands, tens, hundreds of thousands of people living in this town right now that have no idea what it was actually like at one time and what really happened. And I think these are cool stories and cool parts of our history. And I thank you guys for coming on and telling these stories.
Appreciate you telling the stories too.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Immensely.
Matt,
great job, guys.
Yeah.
How do people hear us?
Of course, you can go to the YouTube, which is our most underloved platform. Please go there and subscribe, will you? It's / Mickey Talks Pod on YouTube. Go there and give us some love, will you?
Please.
And of course, MickeyTalks.com is where you can get all of our merch.
Yeah.
And we've got notes in the description right now to get you into our Spinal Tap 2 premiere with Never Never happening on September 11th. Get on that because it's selling out quickly. It's filling up that theater.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We will see everyone tomorrow. We are off Wednesday. And we will see everybody tomorrow at 5. Can't wait for it. See you then, guys. Tomorrow at 5. Bye.